But she also said there should have been an open primary system here and that President Biden's decision to endorse Vice President Harris immediately made it impossible. Do you agree with her?
Well, look, I have a lot of respect for Speaker Pelosi, but I've sort of chuckled when people have said this about President Biden, because the day he got out, we had Democrats with the most over-the-top superlatives, comparing him to George Washington, saying he did the most honorable thing. So now to go back and criticize him seems a bit contradictory. I think this was a winnable campaign. Even when he got out, Vice President Harris was 5 points up in some of the polls. Anyone who's saying now this was not a winnable campaign didn't say that back in August. The reason we didn't win ultimately is we didn't listen enough to people on the ground, people like Chris Deluzio, Pat Ryan, who were saying, talk about the economy, talk about people's economic struggles, convince people you have the better policies and better vision. The reason I'm hopeful for the future is we have the substance. You can't build new factories just with tariffs and tax cuts. You need federal financing. We have actual investment in apprenticeships. And I think over the long run, the American people will see the truth of the policy ideas.
You were a surrogate for Joe Biden. You were then a surrogate for Kamala Harris. And on this program, you defended both many times. One place you did create space was on the issue of Gaza. You said when you were going to college campuses, when you were talking to progressives, when you were talking to voters of color, not just Arabs and Muslims, you heard there was a problem here. Do you think that the numbers you saw, particularly in Michigan, vindicated your point of view, or was there just a greater force at work?
I think she would have certainly won Michigan if there was more of a reckoning with the failures of policy on Gaza. That wasn't my point of view. That was the point of view of a lot of people I was hearing on the ground. I also think beyond Michigan, this really was a concern for a lot of young people and a lot of progressives. Now, my hope is, because President Trump got some of the votes for the Muslim and Arab community, I was just on a bipartisan Conel in Saudi Arabia. They have said that if the president wants a deal with Saudi Arabia, that the Palestinian state and a two-state solution has to be front and center. And I hope we can work towards actually doing that after the war.
Ro Khanna, Congressman, thank you very much for your time today.